Hey guys, welcome back to Creators Can't Be Labeled. I am your host, Tiffanie Stanard. This show is about everyday creators doing their thing, and we had the opportunity to interview Brian Balthazar. I met him years ago when he interviewed on my radio show for 100.3 about all things to do with entertainment. He is a TV personality, show creator, producer, overall an amazing guy. Check it out, Brian Balthazar.
He's from Pop Goes the Week. Welcome our friend Brian Balthazar. Hooray. Hi.
That's right, Lester. The great challenge in being a ventriloquist is if you're really good, you've got an amazing talent. If you're not so good, people think you're just a grown-up who plays with dolls.
Which stars lived in this famous house? They're one of Hollywood's most talked about couples, and the answer is none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver.
We are here with our guest, Brian Balthazar. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Tiffany, how are you?
And I've known you now, what, 2 years?
Is that right?
Has
Is
it been 2
2
years?
It goes fast, doesn't
I feel like
it?
it's been 2 years.
Oh my gosh, isn't that funny?
So I first met Brian officially in New York about a year or two ago. I found him online. I saw his website, Pop Goes
The Week. Yeah.
And then I also saw him on the Wendy Williams show as
True,
a contributor. And I started researching him and starting to see how he goes from front of the scenes, behind the scenes, TV personality, executive producer, developer of many, many shows. I'm letting him talk to you about that. So we are here in Chelsea, New York, where his office is.
Yep.
So tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so as you said, I have a pop culture website. I go on TV like the Today Show, Wendy Williams, CNN, radio shows, but I also executive produce and direct shows for HGTV, which is Home and Garden Television, and I have a pilot coming up on Travel Channel that I'm directing, and also something for Food Network. So I like to, I'm a big believer that you can kind of spread yourself out to try all the many things that you like. I think there used to be this culture that you had to do one thing and stick with it and never leave that job, and the culture is changing. It used to be that you couldn't be a movie star and be a pop singer, but look at J-Lo,
Right? She everything.
Yeah, and so I think, it's all about breaking down, society and culture's expectation of you having to stay in one lane all the time. And I think women have been really pioneers in that because they've been moms, and and it's not that dads don't do that too, but women have been working professionally and kind of managing the household in a way like no one else. And so I think it's high time that we in our professional careers have the ability to juggle multiple types of things and nurture our many interests and talents. So hopefully, I'm not saying I'm good at every one of those things, but I try every one of those things,
That is always the question, like figuring out how to balance multiple things at one time and literally having the passion for all of it.
Yeah.
Being a TV personality,
Right.
so you're directing yourself when you're on TV with the wear, with the talk about, writing your script.
Yeah, well, and also letting go. You have to be willing to let go, because when I'm on the Wendy Williams show or the Today Show, I'm there for them, and I, can direct myself a little bit, but I also need to meet their needs. So I have to take off my own director's hat or producer's hat to some degree. I'm certainly gonna, drag myself to sit up straight like I am right now. Sit up straight, down, slouch, suck it in a little bit.
I forget when I'm on TV because I'm always on the radio, so we can kind of do whatever.
Right. So I'm used to slouching because I'm so comfortable. But you also have to be able to surrender your control to another director or producer and let them do what they do well. So that's an interesting part of it. Yeah.
Is that easy or hard to kind of, as a producer, how to produce and how to manage the segment, but when you're going on your talent now?
Yeah.
So how easy is it to let go of your producer hat to do your talent?
Well, it depends really, but I think it is about building the relationship with the other producer you're working with, and most of them, like I say, are super respectful of what I'm able to do, and I'm respectful of what they're able to do, and like anything else, it's a collaboration. But I also ultimately know that this is their show, and as long as I'm comfortable with what they're asking me to do, then I do it. And I can't think of a time when I've been, I can think of one time. I can think of one time when I was asked to be on a clip show about the Kardashians. And this is one of those cases where you see like someone like me or another person in a soundbite for just a few seconds talking about them. And I do a lot of those, and they asked me to talk about Kim Kardashian being the United States version of royalty. And I said, I paused for a minute And I said, I can't do it. I can't say that they're royalty. I have nothing against the Kardashians. Actually, I think they've done amazing things. You know, maybe the beginning of this Kardashian story wasn't one that they would have hoped for or that we would have hoped for, but you know, they've managed to tap into something that's resonating with people. So I don't begrudge them that. But I'm not going to say something that I don't believe.
Right, that's an interesting comparison.
Yeah. So that I did not get invited back to that show though. So you have to deal with the consequences of what you are willing to do and not to do. And if you really don't want to do it, believe in it and know that there will be consequences. And if you're okay with it, that's okay.
So how do you manage your days? So if you are throughout the week, right? So you have
That's funny.
TV personality for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then throughout the week, I'm going to produce a show. So how do you kind of switch your brain?
I don't do a great job. I called you earlier, like, was it 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock?
And I'm like, 2.
You know, 2. I'm like, oh good, I can make 2. So it's day to day. I do keep a pretty strict calendar for myself and put things, I'm better at putting things in my calendar than I am at responding to emails quickly. Because the calendar, I don't like to be late. I always want to show up for everything I do. Sometimes I feel like, okay, I can get to that email later, but I can't just suddenly show up with something if I'm in the wrong town. I travel a lot,
Wow.
you know, so I don't know that I've found the perfect secret. I don't have an assistant, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I have an office assistant who's shared, but I don't use them that much. I really kind of micro control my own schedule. And it is about figuring out, being realistic about what you can do, because I'm used to saying yes all the time, and sometimes you only feel as good as your last yes. You feel like, oh, what if they don't call me back? And you sometimes have to be confident in that, like, saying yes to everything, you might be giving a subpar performance on everything. So, you know, learning to prioritize what you can and can't do. And know that sometimes if you do a little bit less, you'll do all of those things a little bit better. So I've gotten a little bit better about that. But I'm not going to sit here and say I've got it perfected. I don't have it perfected.
So as you're trying to balance when you're invited to events, what hat do you try to wear the most? If you're trying to balance getting booked to be a TV personality, and every time something comes out, I'm sure you're like, I want to talk about this. And at the same time, you're producing shows, you're developing shows. And what hat do you say you wear the most?
Well, it varies so much that it changes week to week. But I will say, to your point, I was invited to an event recently. It was, oh my gosh, it was International Day of Nonviolence. It was Mahatma Gandhi's anniversary of his birthday, celebrating nonviolence and honoring his legacy. And I went there, and it was this beautiful event at the UN. And I remember sitting down, and I'm like, I don't really know why they invited me. Like, in other words, I don't know if they invited me as a producer. I don't know if they invited me as a guest or as a, you know, so, and it didn't really say, like, are they gonna, you know, like, I didn't know if they were gonna interview me about it later, but I always go from it as like, I'm here as myself. But I remember thinking, I wonder if I should have shaved better, you know, like, and I did find out they took my picture, and it's the worst picture I've taken in a long time. Like, I would have put on some concealer. I did not think that I was going to be asked to, you know, be photographed. But I'm very fortunate that I was invited, and it was a beautiful event. So I was just glad to be there. I often don't really think about where I fit into it. I just kind of go to appreciate it, unless it's going to be something where I know it's on camera or something, because you do want to be prepared. You want to do your homework. Yeah.
So I would think, as the TV personality that's kind of photographed and video, you just kind of would be ready anytime you kind of go to any of that.
That's
right?
more true for women than men, because well, here's why I believe so. Because for me to wear a full face of makeup day to day, it's hot. It's hot here.
But that's not how we feel.
Right, that's what I mean. I'm not saying you have it easier, but people will not look at you funny if you are wearing a full face of makeup. But if I just every day thought, oh, maybe they'll want me to do this, and I came in with like a full face of TV makeup, I would look pretty freaky. Like, you know, like in person, that doesn't look quite right. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, TV makeup versus real day makeup is completely different.
It's totally different, especially for a guy. And I have the complexion of like raw chicken. Like, you know, when you're in the supermarket and you look at the raw chicken section, it's that like pale, yellowy, gross, like pallor. Hey guys, how you doing? New York City, New York City. That's why I love it.
Exactly.
This is our office.
This is the office. I wanted to be by his office.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, that is a complexion that needs to be covered. If you're going to ever be photographed with concealed. So, I try not to have a lot of white washcloths around because they are not going to last. That's a little inside piece of information. Brown washcloths.
Okay.
It all
Wipe
comes
it
right
off.
off. Just wipe it off. Anyway, we're getting a little bit to the minutia.
Look, this is how it works. I mean, you have to always be TV ready as you're trying to be more of a TV producer,
Right.
TV personality,
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Ready for the cameras that we have
I will
right
say
here.
this. I said this to someone recently who's on one of the shows that I direct. They did a rather small interview with a local blogger, and they were super casual, and they were sitting back, and they were really casual. And when you get super comfortable and casual, like the stomach comes out, and their hair wasn't
get the
combed.
suck in.
Like, yeah, I mean, and listen, everything isn't about appearance, but I do say this: every day is a casting call, whether you know it or not. If you're looking to be on camera, present yourself as though you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Always be ready, because the phone call could come at any minute. Hey, can you do this? We need somebody right now. Someone backed out. Someone canceled. We just decided to do this story, and it may come. You may get that phone call. So I always am like, okay. I don't always live by it, but there are times that you'll never be sorry if you're prepared. But you might be sorry. You might be sorry if you're not.
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
listen, like always stay ready for like clothing, makeup, or at least have makeup with you.
Yeah, and also
You
too.
never know.
Yeah, exactly. And also, if you're looking for a marketing sponsor or a partnership, they're gonna Google you. They're gonna look at your Facebook page and see what's their most recent interview, and you're like this, So it's just It's I don't want to say it's an unfortunate part of the business. It just is part of the business. It's just the way that it is. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So when are you looking to expand more? So I see your live, Wendy Williams.
Vacation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Expand more. I love doing all that I do. I sometimes would like to shift more into the on-camera thing, but I will say I love the creative side of producing and directing. And I don't produce or direct films. I produce unscripted television. That's the category that I'm in. So just so I'm clear about that. But I also renovate homes on the weekends sometimes, and I've kind of stopped doing that because I'm exhausted. And oddly enough, like I used to play piano for the first 15 years of my life, and I just got a piano, so I want to like flex that muscle again. And it's like it's like relearning a language.
Yeah, it is.
So I thought I'd be better at picking it back up than I am.
I feel like piano is kind of hard.
It is a little hard, but you do kind of pick it up quickly. But then there's that part like, oh, I'm just as bad at this as I was then. But I'm pretty good, but I have a lot to relearn. Technique. Life is about technique.
Yeah. Practice and making strides.
Form and working hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically what the show is about. Creators Can't Be Labeled, focusing in on all of your passions, from real estate to TV to food. He makes some cool dishes and alcohol dishes.
And bartending
on social media. So just talking about all of your passions and deciding which ones to actually make into business and monetize as well, and which ones to kind of keep as passions and passion projects and just showcase throughout your life.
And I will say some of them are going to make more money than others because that's just the way that it is. Because you really have to be all in to things that you want to make money on, and then some things you can do that are kind of like careers but are more hobbies because they don't pay that kind of money. You really can't do everything all at once and give it 200% the way you need to. There's that whole theory of you need to be doing something 10,000 hours, is it, to be really good at it. And there are only so many hours in a day and in a year. So there are some sacrifices you make, but that's why I try and find things that my hobbies that are ones that I love, and hopefully you can monetize those too,
It would be great to figure out how to monetize a good 85-90% of stuff that
That'd be great, yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And I think it's never been more possible than it is today with the help of social media.
Exactly. So you can sell your clothing online.
Right.
You can sell your drink recipes online.
Right, exactly.
Cook to your houses and go from TV.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And be happy.
And be happy. So what advice would you give someone that's either transitioning to something that they're not known for, like a complete 360, or trying to master a couple different interests that they have, such as TV, behind the scenes, in front of the TV as well?
Well, I would say don't let no's stop you, because truthfully you're going to have a million no's, but you only need one yes at a time. So, in fact, you should condition yourself to no, because really that's the nature of most opportunities, is but you really only need one person to give you a shot, to give you that in. and then you keep working and you work for your next yes. There are always going to be more no's than yeses, because if it was always yeses, everything would be easy and we'd all be where we want to be. So you really have to, it's and I also think sometimes it's not a no, it's just a not now. I'm in the business of telling people that their project isn't going to move forward. Most TV projects don't move forward. And so, but I often say to them, it's just maybe not the right time, it will come. And I think a great example of a cable show that's popular, not on one of my networks, not one that I ever had anything to do with, but a TV show that was pitched for 9 years, I think it was, and it was always a no, always a no, always a no. And finally this developer said, let's stop pitching it. A new developer came in and said, let's pitch it one more time, let's try it again. The series went to, it did get picked up as a series. It's RuPaul's Drag Race.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it must have been 7 or 9 years that they were pitching that to networks, and it just, for some reason, it wasn't the right time for that network at that given moment. Maybe it wasn't the right time in pop culture or in TV, or who knows what the backstory is. But if you believe in something enough, you have to believe in yourself enough to be your own yes until somebody else says yes.
Or now, like you said, with social media, putting it on YouTube and being okay with not having a network behind you.
Yeah, I mean,
whether it's music or TV, and kind of creating your own following for it.
And there really is no one way to go about doing things. There are a million ways, and so sometimes you have to create your own, but definitely seek out the help and advice of others. Because often there is a standard procedure, but sometimes you make your own. You make your own path, and that's great too. That's a revolutionary way to get something on the air, to get something done.
I mean, when you're doing multiple things anyway, there's no standard road if you're trying to bounce around to different industries. So how would you say, when you're out and about, how do you brand when you're looking to produce or be a personality for something? Like, how do you brand that to people when it's talking about wearing multiple hats? Like, how do you say, okay, I do this, but I do this as well, hire me for this, but then also hire me for this?
I find it fascinating that, truthfully, a lot of people, when you apply for something or when they seek you out for something, that they don't know the rest of the 360-degree version of you. So you do have to tell them that's a part of the bigger picture, and what kind of compromises you are and are not willing to make at a new job, at a new position, that can encompass that. But I do find that a lot of employers are open to people who have a broader version of their skill set. Now, I will say, though, at the same time, there are going to be opportunities where a network or a company is going to say, this is the need we have right now. This is the need we need to fill. And while I know you like to do A, B, and C, right now this company needs C. And you also need to be comfortable with that. And be willing to say, okay, I'll do C for you. If you're willing to do that. Because sometimes, truthfully, the next job may not be the job that you want, and may not be the ultimate job, but it may be the stepping stone, the lily pad to the job that you want. So if it gives you a chance to flex or build a new muscle, sometimes it's okay to focus on A or B or C and kind of put the others, you're always kind of moving. It's like putting a tea kettle on 4 different burners, It's like, let's put it over here for a little while. Let's heat things up over here, and then eventually move it over. And then you get 2 tea kettles. It's a weird metaphor.
It's a weird metaphor, but it fits.
Yeah. It is really about communication and being ultimately very clear with the people you're working with about what you want but also hearing what they want, and understanding that, if they're the ones writing the check, you have to be willing to understand that their needs will come first. And if you can adapt those to yours and vice versa, even better.
Cool. So how do you stay creative?
How do I stay creative? Wow. I think it's important, to get outside of this space that you're used to always being in, and trying to get yourself out of ruts, trying new things, experiencing things that may not even be related to what you're trying to pursue or do. Love it. Like this, go for a walk. It helps to go for a walk.
Moments on a beautiful, warm October day.
Yeah. I think it helps to get out there and experience new things. Try different things to understand what a different person's point of view is. Talk with people you wouldn't ordinarily talk to, hear their point of view. Listen to music you wouldn't ordinarily listen to. See a movie that everyone else is talking about. Don't live inside your 4 walls, because I think sometimes there's an artist by the name of Vera Andrus, and she's a lithographer. She does art on a lithographic stone, and she said when she first did it, it was like she had turned a corner and found something she'd been searching for her whole life. And that's a great argument for trying new things. Trying something new. We all, it's funny, even like things we ate we thought we didn't like to eat as a kid, now as an adult, we suddenly like them. I think the same thing goes for experiences. you know, and just don't stop trying new things.
Okay. So final question.
Okay.
So as you're doing multiple things business-wise, how is it when you're hanging out with friends and family? Like, how do you kind of add up all of that into your life and making sure that you maintain your personal life and all of that?
Yeah.
And how do you balance between both industries, the kind of network that you have?
I have a lot of great friends that I see rarely. I communicate as much as I can, but I do keep a small, close-knit group of great friends. I mean, the truth is you only have the capacity to have about 5 super close friends to devote the amount of time that you need to really be there for them and for have them be there for you, because that requires a lot of nurturing and communication. For me personally, I'm a little bit of a homebody. I need to recharge, truthfully. So I have 2 dogs. I go home to those 2 dogs, and so like my inner circle of people I'm with most have fur.
I had to think about that when I got fur.
They're dogs. I don't really know. I don't really know the best way to answer that question, but I do think it's, for me personally, it's about really when I'm home, I have to be able to let go of all the initiative and incentive and the work and all that. You actually do have to stop pushing yourself a little bit once in a while in order to do, you know, you can't run a marathon 7 days a week.
I agree. I'm working on it.
You can't do it. You know, and the truth is you can't do it or you'll collapse. Something you'll sprain your ankle or you'll get a cramp. So you have to stop running once in a while. And that's not just a marathon, you know, like, so that's the metaphor I use. If I don't get my time to recharge, if I don't get 8 or 9 hours of sleep a night.
Really?
Yeah.
8 or 9?
I'm older than you. You'll understand.
Okay.
I won't say how many years it will take, but you will understand.
Okay.
For me, it really is key to sometimes be alone. The piano I just got is a way of being alone and focused on something that's not about me and being alone. You know, like even when someone is in the house, you're really in a zone of focus and hopefully creating something beautiful. Hopefully, with practice.
So what about your network? How do you spread out your network between your TV personalities and hanging out with media folks, but then also the producers and developers of shows?
I just want to hang out with nice people. So I have quote unquote business lunches or business dinners. But the truth is, and I think this does come with age, I mean, there's always that thing like, oh, it could be really great to meet that person and network. But for me, I really want to be around nice people because, one, I want to work with nice people. I have a no jerk rule. I don't use the word jerk when I'm behind closed doors. I use a more strong language and I say, you know, like, I just want to work with nice people, good people who care about other people. Whether you work in television, whether you're a writer, whether you're my Uber driver that I just met. Like, I'm good friends with an Uber driver in LA. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like, I just want to find people who care about other people, share our stories together, and then things always come out of that. But I don't seek the opportunity to come from it. I seek the relationship and the friendship first. And I don't know if that's necessarily the most effective way to do it. That's just the way I do it. I just feel like good people will ultimately want to help each other in the end if they become friends, and I think that's what it is.
Working a lot with like millennials, maybe influencers, so like you first started networking, you're like, who can I meet? You kind of meet everybody.
Right.
And then as you get older, you realize relationship building, nice people, good people. So regardless of whatever industry they're in, you want to be around good people. So regardless if they're in your industry, they can recommend you or they just have a good conversation.
Right, totally.
And you can still build from each other if you just have an overall good relationship.
Yeah, and I certainly see the value, obviously, in seeking people out in your field, seeking their advice and their guidance and their leadership. I think a lot of people really do want to share it, share what they've learned, really do.
So we are here with Brian Balthazar. Please give your social media, your website,
sure,
places that they can see you at.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as Brian Balthazar, BrianBalthazar. And that's where you can pretty much find out where I am at any given moment there, and what I ate, and you know, what show I was on, you know, all that stuff.
And what is your website that you can find anything pop culture?
PopGoesTheWeek.com.
Awesome. So I am Tiffanie Stanard, host of Creators Can't Be Labeled. And remember, let's not label these creators, but explore their many passions.